WWEF, WCW, ECW, Ring of Honor, TNA, whatever it's called.
So, how many? Wow,
all the W's.
That is awesome. So, how long does it take you to do about one of these?
It varies from piece to piece. One this size, 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
But that's like in the studio sitting and just working for like 10 to 12 hours.
Wow.
So it varies from piece to piece.
Fantastic. Well, so how many paintings at the end of doing all these will you have total? Because I don't know
I'm trying to remember. I
want
to say it's around like somewhere between 400 and 500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite of those that you've done so far? Obviously, you don't have those here, but do you have a favorite of those that you've done so far?
Ooh, that's rough. The George Hackenschmidt one, I feel like I really nailed since he was the first one.
Right.
You know, I feel like I did a good job on that. You know, and actually, like the whole wrestling art thing for me started with this. So, like, started with the Kickstarter that I did. That then, like, actually put me on WWE's radar. And
actually, yeah. Give us a little bit of your background. I'm sorry, bad interviewer here. Give us a little. I wanted to jump right into all the cool stuff. Give us a little bit of your background, Rob.
Well, for a long time, I wanted to be a comic book artist, and I had to have a day job to pay for the comic book career. And then I was doing gallery stuff on the side, but I still wasn't standing out, because to really stand out, you need to be one of three things: the first, the best, or completely different. And so with my gallery work, I was not standing out in any kind of way, and I figured it was my subject matter. And I was doing like jazz or pinup stuff. Then it hit me, no one's doing fine art about pro wrestling. And it's like, no one's doing this.
Right.
And so I jumped in, and that's where it just shot off like a rocket. This will be my 5th WrestleMania with WWE.
Wow. How did you get picked up to do this stuff for WWE?
I was at the Dan Gable Museum in Waterloo and met...
Place I've actually been to.
It's amazing. Met Jim Ross and Jerry Briscoe there, got on their radar. And then SmackDown was coming through here in Kansas City, and I was doing a Make-A-Wish fundraiser event, and reached out to Jim to see if the company could help me with that. And they did. Like, they did a lot. I was able to fully adopt a kid's wish, which was amazing. And unprodded by me, unknown by me, Jim called Triple H and said, "You need to work with this kid."
Fantastic.
And, yeah. And he was still with the company at that point. So I might be the last person Jim Ross brought into the company. So
that is
The Rock, Stone Cold, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, me.
That is fantastic. Well, do you? Because it's very now. Have you? Because it's very well known that Jerry Lawler is a very, very great artist. Have you found any of the other wrestlers that might be good artists or anything through working with the company?
Several of them at least have an appreciation of it. Well, Jeff Hardy, we did a painting together, which was really rad. Like while I had painted my half before, and then we were at a house show, and he's painting it, and my wife is doing like the video of him working on it. And every now and then she'll be behind him, and she'll like mouth out to me, "This is amazing."
Like, this is so awesome.
Because the Hardys
look at
were,
that.
Oh yeah, that's the
Wow,
one there.
that's the painting. Wow, that's fantastic.
So it's my part up top, and then his down there.
Wow, that is so cool.
Yeah. It was cool to make that happen. I still don't know how I made that happen, but it did.
Wow, that's fantastic. Well, I was going to say to you earlier, so I'm a very picky collector. I collect action figures. I like to collect the Elite figures, but I'm very picky. I think the only full sets that I buy are when they release the NXT Elites, or if they do somebody that was a big indie star, I'll grab them.
So series 54 through 62, you're buying all of them.
No, yeah, I did it because I have the both series of the NXT Elites they did. I think they're getting ready to do the 3rd series of the NXT Elites soon. But because I don't like the regular ones, I'm weird. I don't like buy whole sets, but. They just released the Elite series that with each figure came a piece of your art. I bought every single figure for your art, specifically for your art, and that's what I was going to tell you over there. I'm like, no, let's put this part of the interview, because the stuff you do is fantastic. Like this, you got this Finn Balor behind you. There's that Undertaker over there. You see Shawn Michaels and the Macho Man and all of your stuff is so fantastic. It's different because you see a lot of a lot of different, a lot of people's artwork's the same, but like you have like some of this stuff's cool, and it's everything's. You have a specific style, and you see it, and you can see like, hey, that's Rob's stuff. Like you immediately see it, and so. When they did it, and I actually didn't know that your art came with it because I saw the Rich Swann thing.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, sweet, a Rich Swann. And so I went and snagged up that Rich Swann, and then I was looking, I was like, oh. So they had a Jimmy and Jay there, and they had a Bray, and I had to go hunt down the Charlotte and the John, but I grabbed all the other ones, and I was like, oh, I want to get all these because it's got all his art in it. And I normally keep them, I keep everything in the box, but these ones I opened so I could get your art out of it and then have those. So, but yeah, that was something like said on sale over there. But I was like, oh, let's talk about it in the interview.
Here's a crazy story about that first wave is my wife's stepmother's mom.
Okay.
You can track that.
Okay.
Lives in Florida, and she's an old woman, doesn't know a damn thing about wrestling, doesn't care about wrestling, but she wanted to see one of my things, right? So she's at Walmart, and she's in the toy aisle, and she doesn't know what the hell she's looking for, right? And there's a guy with his daughter right in the aisle too, and she says, "Pardon me, sir, do you know anything about wrestling?" And he's like, "Yes, I do." And she's like, "Well, I'm my whatever it is that I am to her step grandson-in-law." She's like, he did these things for the WWE toys. He's like, "Oh yeah, I know Rob," and grabs one off the shelf, Bray Wyatt figure, and he says, "This is me."
That was. Oh, I've seen that story. Holy cow, that was you.
Amazing.
That was. Oh wow. Because
This is me.
Okay, this is fantastic. So if anybody, because that was a story that got shared all
Grab
over.
my phone, Katie.
That was a story that got shared all over Facebook.
Yeah.
So that was your
Sports
wife. It was your
Illustrated,
wife's
USA
stepmother's
Today.
mom.
Yeah.
So grandmother basically.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And
It's essentially when the guy found Elias roaming around the aisles. It's like, let's walk the aisles with Elias.
Yeah, he grabbed the figure and said, "Well, here, this one, dude, that's amazing."
I was at Raw last week in Des Moines and asked him about it, and he had done a bunch of phone media that day and to promote an upcoming event, but all that anyone wanted to ask him about was the old lady at Walmart. Here they are together.
Look at that.
That's fantastic.
That is amazing.
That is fantastic. Like, and how, like, what could, like, everybody says, oh, it's a small world. Like, what kind of coincidence is that? She's there.
How
trying
many
to look
stars had to align?
Right.
And then, like, there's these conspiracy nuts that are like, "Oh, Rob, it's all work. You set this up." Yeah, from Kansas City, I called Wyndham up, and I'm like, "Hey."
That is
yeah.
Do you live here in Kansas City?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
That
that.
is an elaborate work.
Right. And then someone else, there's like a hair conspiracy now. They think that I uncovered that he wears a wig. He doesn't wear a wig, people. He just had it tied back. When something goes wide like that, you get the nut jobs.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, I've been wrestling for almost a decade, so
Yeah,
I understand.
yeah,
Like I've been
yeah.
in business for a long time, so I mean, like I understand. Like it's you get there's nut jobs, especially like on small independent shows, just local fans will start stuff about like.
Right.
Well, Rob, this is awesome, man. Like this is really cool. I'm glad we can have this conversation. And like that whole conversation about the whole Bray Wyatt thing. Like that blew my mind for a second. Like we were just talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
So, well, Rob, thank you very much for the interview.
Appreciate it.
And I actually didn't know you were in Kansas City. So it's nice to hear somebody local.